Welcome back to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. In this segment, we review a Kevin Samuels video where he humbles another ghetto girl. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into the video and see how it plays out.
Is that truth isn't loud. Truth.
Choir media. This conversation starts calm, and then everything shifts. Let's break it down on Choir Media.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
I'm just wondering if you remember me.
Okay. No, I can't even. Okay. You need to back up. Yeah, you're the.
I'm in the house chilling. Hold on.
Yeah, you're the girl whose father was spending all the money.
Yeah, I'm back to let you know I have completely changed my life and made a 360.
The 360 put you right back where you were, but I understand what you're saying.
I made a 180.
Are you smoking? Mm.
It's a
So what do you mean? You made a 180? How?
Mm-hmm. I changed the way that I've been living my life. I found Lord, and I got a man that's got money now.
You found the Lord?
Yeah.
Where'd you find him at? I didn't know he was lost.
I didn't know what the Lord was.
Okay. Now this is all inside of last 4 months, right?
Probably like 3 months, 4 months. Yeah.
It's a lot of changing in 3 or 4 months. You said you got a man that has money now.
Yeah. I do. I just wanted to let you know also, I wear my bonnet in public. And I saw what you had to say about that. You know, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time,
You can't make this shit up.
Okay, before we get into this, couple things, ladies. I got to say this. This is not the best representation of our Black beautiful sisters, okay? This young lady's on a live stream that's being streamed live across the world. She's on the stream in a towel with her bra on, and she is, I don't know, trying to troll maybe Kevin Samuels. But even in her attempt to do that, I think it already has a negative impression that most people would look at this and say, man, who is this lady? Right? Because the way she's presenting herself. Now, I don't know this lady personally, so I can't say the content of a character, who she is. But I think if we're going to go off of first impressions, I don't believe this is the best first impression that any woman would want a man to have of her, is her presenting herself in this way. One, if I was her father, I would feel offended that my child is presenting themselves on live stream with a towel on. You don't really generally see people who respect themselves do stuff like that. Two, she doesn't seem like she's ready for the show. I understand it's a call-in show and different people kind of are lax in that. It would have been different had this been a private, FaceTime call between her and Kevin. But she understood that this was a live show and she chose to present herself in this manner. This to me tells me something about her judgment. Maybe she doesn't really care how she presents herself to the world. And that's problematic because your employer could be online. Your potential husband could be online watching. And if this is the impression that he gets, then it's not something that bodes well on you. You know what I mean? So obviously, first impressions, you only have one time to make them. So make sure whenever you step outside, you make the right first impression. Now, the second part is during the conversation, she's already kind of taking this sassy attitude with Kevin. And you're seeing she's pulling out a toilet paper and blowing her nose on camera. It doesn't spell sexy. I'm just going to say it like that, right? Most men watching this is thinking, damn, why is she... This is not look like, why would she do that, right? At the end of the day, no man wants their woman, you know what I mean, to look crazy online or in public, period, right? The whole notion of a man having arm candy is the fact that his woman is polished and is desired by other men. So if she's already doing stuff that may make men say, "Oh no, that's not. I'm not proud that that's my girlfriend," or, you know, I don't know her. You know what I mean? Then it's a sign that you know, she's already going down the wrong path. All right, let's continue.
At the same time, you what?
Did you tell me shut up?
No. I said, go ahead. You said at the same time.
At the same time, I just don't see what the issue of wearing a bonnet in public is. You're trying to say it makes us lazy or whatever. You see my hair? Okay, I just got out the shower. You know, my hair is not done. It's wet. What if I were to go outside and it's humid outside? You telling me I can't wear my bonnet because
I'm not telling you can't do a damn thing. I'm telling you can act however you want to act, and you get the outcomes you get.
Right, but why would that be ghetto for someone to wear a bonnet?
Because we said it is.
Who's we? A black man?
Who's that?
Who's we?
Who is that? Who is that?
Hello.
Yeah, check your shit. I'm talking to one person, not you.
We'll real life fuck you up, Kevin.
Really?
We'll fuck you up.
Get this big bitch. Look at this
We'll
little
fuck
fool.
you up, Kevin. You like men, Kevin. We'll
Look at
fuck
this
you
little
up.
fool. Look at this little fat fool. That's why I just sat there and let her talk. That's why I just sat there and let her stupid ass talk. This is why you're dying alone. I just let her sit there and talk. I found God. I've done this. Ain't nobody rushing to try to make. That was a stray. No one's trying to make stray fat girls their wives. That's why you have to pay for dick. That's why you got to pay men to fuck with you. You got to take your daddy's hard-earned money to get somebody to even want to have sex with your little chunky ass. And then you're mad because you get on a program and you make yourself look like the fool you are. I'll just sit back and listen. And strays hang with strays. That's what it is. Strays hang with strays. We'll fuck you up. Think about this. This little butterball of a girl actually has been cultured and socialized and raised to think that if she decided to stand in front of a man, she could do anything more than just sit there and scream. Seriously, this is where the modern woman is. Due respect to the rest of you ladies, if you are dealing with women like you're beyond jokes at this point. It's not even funny anymore. It's sad. That's why Monique was trying to make that heartfelt thing, because we've gone to the point to where it's really just sad. No one takes you seriously because they don't have to. That's why I don't take any particular pleasure in actually showing. I didn't go looking for her. She came back looking for me to tell me she's made a 360. That's a nice dunk, but you're not even smart enough to know how dumb you sound. I made a complete 360. I realized I was out of control and I found a Lord and I got myself a man with money right now and everything's okay. Now, I wear a bonnet when I go outside, but what's wrong with that? I don't know what's wrong with wearing the bonnet. You trying to tell me I'm ghetto? What's ghetto about that? What's ghetto about what I'm doing? What's ghetto about What's ghetto about that, huh? Well, I can't be a lady like this. I mean, I just wear my bonnet every now and then. I just wear my bonnet every now and then. What's wrong with that, man? I'll fuck you up. You like boys. You got a pussy. You got kicked. What you say, girl? Yeah, that's right. I done told you once.
I'll make you famous.
I ain't your daddy.
So far, this is going way left, but Kevin Samuels is going in. She definitely gave him a lot of ammo to go at her. Now, couple comments. this girl, I was about to call her a little girl because she seems young-minded. This girl, you could tell she came at him with a lot of smoke. Like she wanted to make a scene. She wanted to try to expose him and make him look bad. I guess simply because he's a guy who goes against the grain and he has opinions about black women and their behavior. And, he feels like a lot of times black women don't like to be held accountable on certain topics. And so when he talks about it, one of the topics was black women wearing bonnets when they step outside of the house. Monique, a comedian, came out and made some statements about how she thinks as a black woman that is not the proper representation of other black women, especially because you're presenting yourself to the public still in your night attire. And that's just not the way to step out. Like you're going to the airport or something in your pajamas, right? If you're wearing your bonnet, people get to look at you and they make a judgment on that. So this lady obviously brought that up during the course of this conversation, and she was trying to make a skeptical out of Cam Samuels. But in so doing, she began to push back on him when her girlfriend said something out of the blue that was offensive to Kevin. They start making threats. I'll F you up. I'll do this. I'll do that. Now, there's a whole notion of the angry black woman, right? This speaks to that trope that a lot of people have. When you're a woman and you're making threats to a grown man, clearly this guy is probably twice her age. It shows that you don't have respect for your elders, and two, you don't have the capacity to make a valid argument, especially if the person says something you don't agree with, right? There is a way to intelligently disagree with someone without cussing them out and making a scene and, being disrespectful, all of which was what this lady did. She jumped down his throat, was talking about she's going to F him up and she's going to expose him, and started questioning his sexuality. And this, I think she was trying to say to make him look bad, but I think it ended up making her look bad. And that's not the proper representation. So now a lot of men who watch this, especially if they're outside of our race, they might think, man, that lady's aggressive, or she's a little masculine, or, and even men like us who probably kind of accustomed to that type of talk from some black women. We're not saying all of them are like that, but they're going to think this girl's a little unruly. You know what I mean? Like almost untamed. Like you talking about you going to F a man up, you going to beat him up, and you going to do this and you going to do that. In reality, this lady could not, go fight a man, right? But she's talking tough. Now, why is she talking tough? Maybe she's trying to get some clicks. Maybe she wants to stand up to get cool points from the sister code. I don't know. But I personally don't think this is a good reflection on her. And I don't think it's a good reflection on the black community as a whole, right? I think we do need to start demonstrating an ability to communicate without making threats, communicate without being disrespectful, and understand the dynamics of age, right? This is a younger woman talking to an older man in a very derogatory way. I just don't know that that's the way that we should be presenting ourselves in the public's eye, right? Because if you don't show respect for elderly men, then society won't respect those men. So you're almost emasculating the men by the way you talk to him. And it's kind of crazy. To me, as a man with daughters, I would not, advise my daughters to talk to grown men like that, because generally speaking, if she was in his face talking like that, you don't know how that might turn out, right? That it might be something where they get physical with each other, or she disrespects him to a point and it goes crazy. To me, I would advise to the ladies not to talk to men like this. Now, Kevin Samuels is pretty controversial, or was when he was alive, of a figure. And I think he reflects the energy that women give him. The moment this lady started to be rude and disrespectful, it opened the gateway for him to unleash a barrage of insults and things on her. Not saying it's right, but it seemed like that's where it went. So I generally would say steer clear of communicating like this. Let's find better ways to communicate. And sometimes people are clickbaiting with the ways that they conduct themselves online, it's not always advantageous to do that, because if you have a job, or your employers regularly check online to see how you conduct yourself and to see if it aligns with their brand, they may not want to associate themselves with somebody who talks like that. So my view is, I think she was out of line for really threatening the guy in the manner that she did. Clearly, he may have said some things that triggered her, and things went left as a result of that. But so far, that's my views on it. Let's continue.
I ain't your daddy. You can tell I ain't your daddy because there's no.
Man, listen, this episode was comedy and a case study at the same time. First of all, let's get this out the way because it tells you everything you need to know about where her head is at. I made a 360-degree change. A 360 means you spun around and landed right back where you started. Same spot, same mindset, same problems. That alone told me that education was decorative, not functional. Stay in school, yes, but more importantly, stay humble and stay teachable. And when Kevin said, "Did you say shut up?" I lost it, because that wasn't just funny, that was a boundary check, and she failed it immediately. Right there, you saw the immaturity. No composure, no respect, no awareness that she's speaking to an older man trying to help her, not flirt with her, not impress her, not argue with her. Kevin is great for a reason. Not because he yells, not because he insults. He's great because he lets people talk themselves into the truth. Now let's talk about Bonnet Girl, because right out the gate, she lied. And people underestimate how important that is. Lying at the start of a conversation signals insecurity, lack of accountability, fear of reality. And immediately after the lie, she regressed emotionally to about 15 years old, giggling, talking over him, dodging direct questions, getting defensive instead of reflective. That's not confidence, that's avoidance. And let's be honest, she and her friends didn't come on for advice. They came on emotional. They came on mad because Kevin consistently calls out obesity, lack of discipline, and unrealistic standards. And instead of doing the hard work of self-improvement, they wanted to complain, deflect, and feel validated. Kevin didn't give them that dopamine hit. He gave them reality. And notice something else. When faced with structure, facts, and calm authority, she couldn't hang. No logic, no consistency, just vibes and feelings. That tells me something uncomfortable but real. Her own family probably is exhausted by her, because people who act like that on camera in front of thousands don't magically become reasonable in private. That energy doesn't turn off. That's the kind of person relatives love from a distance. What Kevin was really exposing, and your analysis nailed this, is that truth isn't loud. Truth doesn't need to scream. Truth doesn't need backup dancers. It just sits there and waits for you to contradict yourself. And she did, repeatedly. That's why Kevin Samuels was a masterclass, not because he was perfect, but because he forced people to confront the gap between who they think they are and how they actually show up. And most people don't hate Kevin because he was wrong. They hate him because he was precise. This episode wasn't just funny, it was revealing. And if someone watched it and got offended instead of reflective, that tells you everything you need to know.
Okay. I think my man just put it very succinctly. He actually touched upon it, right? This was a shout out to Choir Media, by the way. They're the ones who did that video. It was a review video of that particular clip. But I think it really does speak to how we present, right? This young lady probably should have shown a little more respect when speaking to an elder man, but she didn't. She called into his show seeking his advice, but instead it was almost like she was trying to troll him. Ladies, let's do better. You know what I mean? I don't want to hark on it. This is not hacking to say that all women are like that or all black women are like that. This is not what this is about. This is about constructive criticism to say there are so many ways that we can improve how we communicate with each other so that we can better relate to each other and hopefully bond more as opposed to being at odds, especially in the public square. So the young man gave his viewpoint. I've shared mine. Obviously, we invite you to share yours, right? If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe onto the Intercourse Show, and weigh in. Was she out of line? Was he out of line? Who do you think, was the victim in this situation? Who do you think was the antagonistic person? Share your thoughts. We definitely welcome your viewpoint. And, we want your voice to be heard. So join the Intercourse and let's have conversation about this. All right. I'm yours truly, Mr. B, signing off. Thank you again for joining me for this segment. Talk to you soon.